around the corner, or around the globe. Embark on a thrilling journey to some of the most fascinating destinations in the world. Get set to visit exotic sights and thrill to nature's most breathtaking vistas. Meet unique and intriguing people, visit the places you've dreamed about, and marvel at wonders few know exist. Experience the best the world has to offer on World's Most Exotic Travel Destination Videos. Our journey begins in the trade capital of Europe to discover just what makes alluring Amsterdam so irresistible. Then we zoom 4,000 feet up the world's tallest cliffs for stunning aerial views of Hawaii's secluded Molokai Island. We join the high-tech search for Scotland's ancient Loch Ness Monster. Visit the elite mercenaries under papal appointment in the Vatican. Thrill to summertime glacier skiing in Western Canada. Plunge into shark-infested waters in search of the perfect picture and meet a master of India's once forbidden Kulare Fayat. Then, we glimpse the private side of mega entertainer Wayne Newton and the Las Vegas he calls home. See what it's like to have the job of your dreams running a tropical Club Med resort. And conclude our trip with a pulse-pounding jet ride down New Zealand's Shotover River. All this and more on this episode of the world's most exotic travel destinations.
If you think the Netherlands is just another sleepy, picturesque country in Europe, think again. Amsterdam, the capital of the Netherlands, is a progressive and sophisticated city that maintains its old world charm. Richard Hart explores the gateway to the north.
The Netherlands is the result of a classic case of man against nature. About half the country has been rescued from the sea. For centuries, the Netherlanders stood vigil over his conquest with sturdy dikes and efficient windmills.
At the turn of the century, there were 10,000 windmills across this little land. Today, there are only about 950 of them left, and every one is protected as a National Historical Monument.
Holland is known for the windmills, the wooden shoes, and the tulips. It all exists, except the little boy with his finger in the dike. But the Dutch are annoyed when you get lost in the cliches. This little country, half the size of Indiana, is steeped in history and challenging the future.
And the heart of the Netherlands is Amsterdam. It's practically the heart of Europe, because it seems everyone who comes to Europe ends up here. This place is a magnet for every language and every culture.
While the newcomer might have a crush on the city, lifelong residents like journalist Lou Polak are deeply in love.
We see Amsterdam like a beautiful woman. She can, with the help of a bit makeup, she is very beautiful. She is naughty. She can be never boring. She's always interested. That's Amsterdam.
Spared the wartime bombings that wiped out much of Europe's history, Amsterdam seems to have survived intact with its 17th century roots. Always a city of merchants, this is the capital of the Netherlands and the trade capital of Europe.
It's the crossroads of the world, or more accurately, the crosswaters. See, there are more than 100 kilometers of canals in Amsterdam.
Amsterdam is known as the city of 1,000 bridges. Okay, we didn't count them all, but Amsterdam does have more miles of canals than Venice, and the picturesque gabled buildings that line the canals may be Amsterdam's greatest treasure.
A lot of the houses look just like they're ready to fall over, and many times it's deliberate. They were designed with the front leaning out to make it easier to hoist things up to the top.
Amsterdam is cosmopolitan. People swarm to the pubs called brown cafes and to the sidewalk restaurants to snack on poffertjes. They flock to the flea market and to the herring stands. Sorry, not for me. Amsterdam has that quality that makes a classic city great. Vibrant people.
Of course, the old buildings have a very, well, they make the atmosphere too. But what I like most is the people. They just go out and want to meet each other. And that's what I like.
Beyond the windmills and the tulips, the spirit of Holland is best demonstrated by what happened during World War II. The Dutch people protected Jews and freedom fighters in 1,000 little attics and other hiding places.
Corrie ten Boom lived above a clock shop in the city of Haarlem. When her house was occupied by the Gestapo, 4 Jews and 2 members of the resistance scrambled into the hiding place behind her bedroom wall.
What happened to Corrie?
Corrie was arrested with her sister and her father. 10 days, Casper died. Corrie and Betsy were sent to concentration camp.
And the 6 people who hid in here, what happened to them?
After 2.5 days, they were released by the underground organization. And we were very happy with that it was a great success in hide people in this hiding place.
They survived.
They survived.
And in Amsterdam, the famous diary of a young girl hiding from the Nazis was written in the cramped attic of the Anne Frank house.
Imagine being cooped up in these tiny rooms with the windows sealed shut for more than 2 years.
Holland is more than wooden shoes, tulips, and windmills. And you'll always find the door open to the Netherlands, the gateway of Europe.
Hey, hoe gaat het met je? Hartelijk welkom in Holland.
In the 17th century, the Netherlands was one of the great trade and colonial powers of Europe, and some of the international influences can still be felt. For example, a favorite dish is rijsttafel, or rice table, which originated from Indonesia.
If you want to experience authentic Hawaii, then check out the tiny island of Molokai, often overlooked by visitors. This island has more native Hawaiians than any other in the state. It's a place where you can rise above the crowded tourist resorts and enjoy some of the most beautiful coastline in the world.
If you wanted to see some of the remotest parts of the island of Molokai, there's a good chance you'd have to see Cliff Suarez. He's in charge of the only helicopter ride on the Friendly Isle, Royal Helicopter Incorporated. Being a native of Molokai, Cliff knows where all the great spots are. Cliff's been a pilot for many years, and although he loves to fly, he loves his island of Molokai even more.
I do this because I want to live on Molokai as my home. I want to stay here, so I went out and did something that I can come back and support myself with. I can show you the one part of the island that no one else can show you.
The first breathtaking view you see after you take off are the world's tallest sea cliffs. Rising 4,000 feet above the ocean, these huge cliffs are the main reason the North Shore is so isolated, even from a lot of Molokai residents. This type of terrain helps the island resist change.
My goal is to show the people the real Molokai, not the Molokai that people talk about. I want to show them what's really here, the beauty that we do have.
As well as the shoreline and the incredible cliffs, one of the things to catch your eye is Kalaupapa, the famed leper colony. This secluded little community is only accessible by air, sea, or a mule ride down the cliffs. Its seclusion makes this town a very mysterious place. There are all sorts of lush valleys tucked away up and down the coast. Now and then you'll even see a house or two. Evidence that some people still live out here. The ultimate in getting away from it all.
My favorite part of the whole trip is showing people Kahiva Falls. Kahiva Falls is the longest uninterrupted waterfall in the state. From the top to the first pool is almost 1,800 feet. If you came to Molokai and you could only do one thing, I would suggest my helicopter ride because I can show you the one part of the island that no one else can show you.
Well, if you have time for more than Cliff's helicopter excursion, do try the mule rides into Kalapapa. Also hitch up with the Molokai wagon ride. It will take you through one of the largest mango groves in the world.
The mysterious legend of Scotland's Loch Ness Monster has endured for centuries. This story about a giant prehistoric creature living in Great Britain's largest freshwater lake has been passed down for generations. But it's only in the last few decades that the search for Nessie has gone high-tech.
It's impossible to take your eyes off the murky water, knowing that it might appear without warning. The uneasy feeling in the pit of your stomach comes from knowing that, should it appear, there's absolutely no way to predict how you'll react.
Suddenly, it was very calm, and suddenly this great creature rose up out of the water just off the castle point. It must have been, 60 or 70 feet long, the bit that was out of the water. And it just lay there for ages.
Winifred Carey, Freddie to her friends, has spent most of her 81 years on Loch Ness. The famous monster, or monsters, are no legend to her, but something she claims to have seen no less than 16 times.
I was in the garden, and I was looking across the bay here, which is about 2/3 of a mile to the other side of the bay, and I saw a terrific disturbance close to the shore there. It was huge, and these three sort of peculiar humps. I don't know what they were, I can't understand that. And I rushed in to get the telescope, and I took it out to have a look, and when I got to the gate to look, that had gone, although there was still a commotion in the loch. The loch was very calm. And then, as I was looking, I suddenly saw something move on the shore. It was a large, sort of bulbous, pale grey sort of thing. And I saw it moved, it sort of flopped along the edge of the loch.
Freddie is far from alone. Thousands claim to have seen Nessie. She first surfaced in 565 AD when an indignant St. Columba ordered the monster to return to the depths and terrorize his followers no more. Numerous searches have failed to produce anything concrete, and no doubt too many Godzilla movies had the Japanese thinking this decoy might do the trick, while this priest probably figured St. Columba had it right all along.
Begone, thou hideous demon, unto thine appointed place, and return no more to plague the servant.
Evidence is sketchy. A handful of grainy photographs, a few inconclusive movies.
Loch Ness is only 23 miles long and just a mile wide. So you'd think in the past 1,400 years since the first sighting, somebody would have come up with something conclusive by now. But you see, the problem is Loch Ness is also 750 feet deep. The water's jet black, the visibility almost zero. However, this time, researchers say if Nessie's down there, they'll find her.
Where others have failed, Operation Deep Scan will try to unlock the secret of Ness. 20 boats forming a single picket line, sweeping the depths with sonar. Project leader Adrian Shine has been here before, and he's convinced there's something down there.
What I'm really saying is that in a loch with this reputation, and we get sonar we don't understand.
Advancement means introduction to an array of deadly weapons. There's the mace, also known in the local language of Malayalam as gada. Kuntam, or spear. Kataram, dagger. And the sword and shield. Of all the forms of warfare that have ever existed, Kalari Payattu is surely one of the most civilized. Here in southern India, back in the 13th century, when two neighboring clans would have a disagreement, they would each select a single warrior to represent them in public combat. The time, place, and weapons were decided upon. The battle would settle the question. What was once a fight into the death has evolved into a state sport that involves speed, skill, and grace. Kalari Payat is so effective, so deadly, that the British banned its practice for fear that it would be used against them. Intense physical stress and human error sometimes lead to injuries. So as guru, 55-year-old Govindan Kuti must also serve his students as master healer. Massage with medicated oils serves as a primary treatment to maintain circulation and flexibility. The degree of total dedication necessary for practicing Kalari Payat has kept its popularity to a minimum. But according to Govindan Kuti Nair, those who truly devote themselves to this indigenous art can reach a level of inner peace that transcends into every aspect of their daily lives.
Tuition for these students is about $2 a month. This token fee is only to help out with expenses because a true guru doesn't accept payment.
You can bet that the first person those guests want to see is Mr. Las Vegas himself, Wayne Newton. When he's not busy entertaining an audience, he's right at home in the city that made him famous.
When I was 15 years old, I came up from Phoenix, Arizona. I auditioned for the Fremont Hotel, and that was 1959. And we did 6 shows a night, 6 nights a week for 5 years.
Newton has called Las Vegas home for almost 30 years. His folks bought a house on one corner of what is now his 52-acre estate in 1964. It was close to his work and good for his health.
I had bronchial asthma as a child. And so when we came to Las Vegas, and we were working so much here, it just seemed a natural evolution to just live here. And frankly, it never occurred to me to live anywhere else. The weather and I were compatible.
Well, if you ever change your mind about leaving.
Newton's Las Vegas career is well documented. The current holder of the hardest working man in show business title, his 2 shows a night, each show sometimes going 2.5 or 3 hours, earn him something along the line of $750,000 a week.
Classy 100, most of all of you who are my friends and neighbors.
What is not well documented is Wayne Newton of Las Vegas, the community man, his involvement with local charities, and quiet time he spends with his family or his prized horses goes unnoticed by the public at large. And when he talks about his home, his town, It's personal.
There's a very definite sense of community here, a sense of community pride. My daughter has gone to the same school from pre-K right on through the 8th grade, and I still get offended when I see television shows do the cliche raps on Las Vegas. I still get offended when I see movies that portray Vegas in a not too nice a light. So it's a very personal thing with me.
Because it is personal, Newton views the rapid expansion of Las Vegas as a double-edged sword. Great for business, tough on the neighborhood.
At one time it looked like the airport was going to take all this property out here, and I started looking around to decide where it would be that I would want to live. And I checked all the way from my home roots of Virginia to Hawaii to Santa Barbara to different parts of California. And I realized that there was no place in the world, literally, that offered me what this town does.
Wayne Newton, a headliner, the king of Las Vegas, and a man right at home.
Take us to the prom, Bubbles.
Even in the land of the endless summer, you have to make a living. And if you have to make a living, then one of the best jobs to have is as a Club Med GO. They're the eternally tan counselors who island hop to some of the best beaches in the world. Here's Steve Avison with the boys and girls of Club Med.
I was hired on the spot. The happiest day of my life. It was great.
We've got a very, very international friends now. It's very nice.
Joe is a lot of fun. Every day is the beach, is the sun. It's very funny to do Joe.
They're the symbols of eternal youth, gentile organisateurs, GOs to you and me. Their lives are a constant vacation filled with the sun and the beach and plenty of fun. If this is work, where do you sign up?
Alors mon prénom c'est Elios et c'est Peter. Comment tu t'appelles?
For the GOs, there's no change of season, just a change of village every 6 months. It's then that they get reassigned to any one of the 22 villages around the world, or the new Club Med sail ship. The GO works 18-hour days, 7 days a week, teaching, socializing, and performing. Lori, a 29-year-old Californian, felt she had a calling.
I wanted to live in a gorgeous place, be outside, enjoy the sports, use my French, meet other GOs and GMs from all around the world. It was just the perfect job for me. Vous connaissez les clubs de la zone US ou c'est la première fois? We've got the hottest nightclubs, you know, in most of the places around. We've got the best food, so you don't feel like you're trapped. A lot of GMs say that. Don't you get sick that you just have to stay here? I say, would you?
Okay, but life on the beach can't be all sun and fun. What's the downside? Well, some GOs look at the job as a way to travel and see the world, when actually many of them are never able to travel outside of the village and see the country that they're in. Their $450 a month salary won't make them rich. Then again, they never have to spend any money. And some GOs aren't crazy about having a roommate.
Edit.
Remember when Club Med had the image of a free-for-all? Well, you can kiss those days goodbye. Now in its 40th year, the club is a family place. But is there still that chance for romance on your vacation?
Not all the time, but sometimes.
You meet a lot of terrific people, but it's hard to get involved for 1 week and then say goodbye. I don't really like that. I spend time with them, you know, we become friends and everything, but much beyond that is not something that I personally really go for. It's just too hard.
It's not, of course, the place to meet people, to be with a girl, not at all. If I want to have my private and own life, I will do it maybe outside.
GOs don't have to be beach bums forever. Santi, a 10-year veteran at the ripe old age of 31, has the most coveted title of chef de village, or chief of the village. His latest assignment, however, was a tough one. He actually had to reopen the Club Med village in Guadeloupe after Hurricane Hugo. But now, it's business as usual.
It's not hard to get used to the beach and the sun and all these people and the good food being fed all the time. I love to dance, so there was nothing to adjust to.
You have to be very human. To make people happy means people don't get a lot of time to have vacation, and vacation or holidays are very important for them. So if they spend 1 week or 2 weeks in Club Med, it must be the best time of their life.
So, these are the lucky people who get to have the jobs of a lifetime. They're professionals. Had a good time, a great tan, and an endless summer.
The requirements to be a GO aren't too demanding. You have to be at least 19, free of all commitments, able to relocate, and have a valid passport. But only 1 in 20 people who apply to be GOs actually get the job. So there must be that indefinable something that they look for beyond the basics. Rita Channon travels to New Zealand for a hair-raising trip down the Shotover River.
If you love roller coasters, white water, or just testing your sanity, then grab your socks, swallow your heart, and hold on for dear life. You're going for a little boat ride, New Zealand style. This bone-jarring test of nerves is called jet boating, and there's no better place on Earth to try it than the Shotover River in southern New Zealand. Jet boating is a major attraction here, and the Shotover jets are world famous for offering an unforgettable ride. Make that unforgivable.
I want them to leave happy, probably, thrilled and remembering it, something that they've come to New Zealand to do. Yeah, I think that people come on holiday to see and do different things that you can't do at home, and this is what Shotover Jet is. It's something that you can't do at home.
At least half the credit for Trevor's success goes to the Hamilton jet, $100,000 of engine and fiberglass invented by a New Zealander. The rest of Trevor's success is due to the kamikaze drivers who sat at the helm of these jet boats. Guys like Philip Ball, who seem to get a kick out of spending their days coming within inches of the hereafter. But Trevor's drivers aren't just born crazy. They're born entertainers.
Nice shower.
You too could drive like that if you drink as much as I did, I tell you.
Ever had any close calls?
Oh, you're meaning in the boat?
Yeah.
You do nick occasionally, but if you don't nick, you're not trying.
Trevor had to borrow the money to buy his first boat when he started his jet boating business. He's since sold his operation for an undisclosed amount somewhere in the millions.
We hope you enjoyed your journey. See you on the next episode of World's Most Exotic Travel Destinations.